Hi, good morning. Welcome to the Space Between. Happy Monday. And this is Michelle Lane. I just wanted to take a moment and say hello and welcome you to a new week. And as we begin in here, amplification is on my mind today. What it is that we want to amplify in our world. And so as you're joining me here, please say hello. And if you're tuning in on the replay, whether it's morning, noon, or night, welcome. Amplification, such an interesting conversation. And the reason that I want to talk about this is because our mind is continuously working. Our mind is continuously thinking, striving, figuring out things, and it's brilliant in what its capacity is to create, to design things that we decide we want. It's literally limitless, which is really profound. We hear the words and we say, yeah, we're limitless. But then there's the actual living in our bodies and applying our beliefs and our systems into how we operate every single day. And if you're anything like I've been in the past 10 years, there's been a lot of change and a lot of stress and a lot of unexpected events. But what's interesting about that is all of these events have prepared me for the work I'm doing now. They prepared me for the insights and the awarenesses to lead me on a path of discovering how I can become better every single day as a mom for my girls, become better every single day in my health, in my vitality, and become better every single day in what I'm capable of not only achieving, but believing I can create. And I want to have this conversation in this beautiful Monday of April 12th, 2021. The energy of today is a 3. So it is already an amplification. And so many times we can find the events in our life unfolding based off what we've been thinking without even being aware of that. So today I wanted to bring to your attention some of the areas where we can bring a little more intention into our own observation of ourselves and our thoughts. Now, mindset work, how we choose to think, all those things may not be new concepts for you. But it truly is true that we can change our mind by simply bringing awareness to what's happening in the feeling state of our body. I love helping my clients with this work. I love bringing the awarenesses back to my own attention in spaces where I'm going through something different and I'm hearing the information different, or I'm hearing it again for, it could be the 100th time. But we have this ability to listen and hear it in a new way as a reminder and bring in insight and awareness in a way that we hadn't experienced it before because we weren't open to receiving the information. And as we move on in life and we go through different events and we find ourselves in new places, we become more open. It's like we've awakened to this new area of, this is very interesting now. What is it about that mind that I heard before, right? And what's so readily connected to the mind is how we're feeling in our body state. Are we in a stressed out, overwhelmed, anxious state of being? And do we even recognize that that's where we are? Are we in a fight or flight response? You've heard of fight or flight perhaps before, where we're so stressed, our body's in survival mode. It thinks it's like a T-Rex and it's running for survival, like that sense of having to wait for the shoe to drop or make a plan B or run to be free, right? And we can oftentimes feel that as humans as day-to-day stress. We can feel it as all the to-dos on the to-do list. We can feel it as not having our finances in order or feeling like we need more, or maybe having that relationship with ourselves where our bodies are in distress and we're worried, or we've gained weight and we're not happy. There's all of these things that are playing out at all moments of the day, every single day for us. And have you ever wondered why it feels like the same things happen over and over and over again? It's almost as if there are moments where we go, huh, I've seen that show up. Like, that's weird. That's weird that that friendship kind of ended the same way a different friendship ended a few years ago. Or that's weird. I find myself here, my body has gained a little weight and I don't understand why. And a lot of times it's because we're not bringing awareness to what we're thinking about something, thinking about the situation, what expectations we have on ourselves, what conditions we've placed on ourselves or others by our thoughts. And in that state of awareness, what is happening that's perpetuating those feelings, right? So if we're already stressed out and we're upset or we're frustrated or we're irritated and we're aware that we're feeling that way, but then the day continues on and things continue to frustrate or irritate us, or we listen to the news and now we find ourselves aggravated, or watching our social media feed and we're just thinking it's a bunch of crud because nothing positive is on there. These are all things that we can simply do something different with. But we're so in habit of doing the same things, not at any fault of our own. That's how our brain works. It automates things, it automates our thoughts. And so if you're in that moment of potential awareness where you're wondering, why is this thing happening to me over and over again? Why is this always happening to me? That was the very first area where I'm like, wait, that's weird. And just in that moment of thinking it was weird, I allowed myself to kind of follow the thoughts that were before that. And then opening to that information, I discovered that you can pay attention to your thoughts. And more so, you can feel in your body what's coming up. You guys know what that feels like, that agitated, frustrated kind of feeling, like you just want to like get in a fight, be right, argue with somebody. Where is that coming from and what is it trying to tell you? I think that's the most fascinating thing. We think we feel it, we know it's there, and then we don't want to feel that way anymore, so we kind of run from it. And that's that moment where our body's saying, hey, something's off. Can you help me? And yet we learn to not feel our emotions, not feel our feelings. So we shove it down, get busy, distract ourselves, move on to the next thing, not being aware that the things that we're doing are the things that are perpetuating the thoughts over and over again. And so when we push that aside or push it back, it comes back screaming more and more. So the loop just continues to run and it feels like we're stuck in a loop. We need an interruption in that moment, an interruption, a willingness to say, oh, let me look at that. Because we have the ability as human to change how our mind is operating by simply bringing awareness to it. And even more so, what are we feeling and how would we rather feel instead? And not in a way of bypassing, but in a way of feeling it long enough to go, what is bringing this sensation to me right now? Why am I agitated? Why am I overwhelmed? What's overwhelming me? And being willing to look at that honest answer and say, I'm feeling overscheduled today. I don't feel like I have time for myself. I really wanted to take that walk. I did it again. I skipped a meal when I wanted to nourish my body. Like the real truth stories back there, the one that you have with yourself. What are the kindnesses that you hear? And which ones are getting railroaded by these thoughts of, it should be this way, it needs to be this way, it has to be this way. To where pretty soon you're doing all the needs, shoulds, and have tos for everybody else, and we're not listening to our own self, our own body. And so we talk about amplifying. What are we amplifying? What do you wish to amplify in your life? More wealth, more health, more joy and play, more happiness? Are you choosing to find the thoughts that bring you more joy and happiness? Are you focusing on how it feels when you have the money that you desire? Focusing on how it feels to be healthy and vital in your body? This is where we can take a look at ourselves with love and compassion, becoming our best observer and collecting some data, not in judgment, not to feel bad about ourselves and where we've been, but to understand that when we bring the awareness to it, we bring our mind's attention to it. It has this beautiful reticular activation system in it. And it'll bring around us in our environment all the things that can help us with that awareness. And if we can come to that place of acceptance of, oh, I could be doing this to myself. What if I just change a few things around and test and see what's happening? What if I turn off the news this morning and maybe take a cup of coffee outside with a blanket? Or if it's cold where you are, sit by the fire and just have a little quiet time. And maybe you don't do that every day and it just breaks the monotony of the same thing we do. We get up, we check our phones, we check the news, we turn all the things, we're stressed out before we even have a chance to begin our day. We breathe for a second and just savor our cup of coffee, savor that moment. Take a breath. Play with our dogs or our cats. Just take a moment to do something nurturing and nourishing and feel the difference. It's such a beautiful ripple effect that amplifies into your day. And so if you have that awareness today and you're willing to play in this space, pay attention to how you felt maybe when you woke up this morning. And even though you might have felt a little irritated or amplified with frustration or stress or anxiousness starting into your Monday, at any moment you can change your mind into how you want to feel. You can decide right here, right now, amazing. I see that I did that. And I think for the rest of the day, I choose to feel excited about what magical thing could happen today, what miracle could take place. And then bring into your mind's awareness those things and accept what they are. If you got a note from a friend, or you had all green lights on your way to town, or you got some good news in the mail, you heard something that you hadn't heard on the radio, your favorite song, all those things matter. And as we bring those into our awareness, it ripples out into more evidence. We have these beautiful biomorphogenic fields that we're made of that extend far beyond just our physical body. We're constantly receiving information through energetic signals, vibrations, emotions, thought forms, and we're sending them out. So it's one thing to learn how to manage your stress. So what you're keeping in that field around you is more resonant with how you'd rather feel. And then there's that moment of understanding what we're bringing into that field as well. Can't control what's outside of us. We can control how we react or respond to it. And we can control our thoughts by bringing awareness and intention to them. And so just for today, if you were willing to play in what would make me feel more joyful, what would make me feel a little more excited in my day? What would make me feel blissful? And even if saying those words sounds strange, okay, cool. So I'm in this state of fight or flight. Can I just breathe a few more times today? Where's my breath? Is it stuck? Okay, cool. Breathe out. Take a deeper breath with intention. Can I breathe a little deeper this time? Oh, I did. All right, breathe out. Hey, my shoulders relaxed. Breathe in again. Oh, that one went a little deeper. And just kind of play in the breathing space and say, all right, now I'm opened up. Now how do I feel? What's the next thing I could do today to bring in more fun and play? And don't let the sounds of, oh, we don't have time for that, or that's just silly, or just for now, just for today. What if you just chose to believe that there was something that could bring you a little more joy, A lot of times it's the simplest thing. We can hear, go for a walk, or take a few minutes with your kids today, or hey, play tug with the dog. I know so many times I pass by it and think, no, I don't have time for that. It's human. But when I do, I find the fun in it. I invite in new experiences. I allow myself to play and discovery. And so my invitation for you today is to do the same. What other simple things you can do to shake up your routine today and amplify more joy and fun and love and expression of you? And in doing so, watch a little more of the anxious, stress, overwhelm, frustration melt away. Maybe you take only left turns when you go to the grocery store. You find a new route to get there. Maybe you jump up and down 10 times before you go to the kitchen. Maybe you do a couple stretches outside of your desk, get up and just do a couple stretches and see what happens. And here's a really fun one. Like, what if you just skipped? You haven't skipped for a while, just a little bit of skipping. You can't be mad or frustrated or angry. You can't be any of those emotions while you're skipping. I've tried it. It doesn't work. And in that space, how did that make you feel? And are you willing to do it again, over and over and over again, to find new awareness and discover things about yourself? I wanted to just chat about it today because I think it's a reminder we can always bring ourselves back to. We're hardwired to find the lack in all things. And by choice, we can find the goodness, find the gifts that life has to offer, even when it's chaotic or even during sad times, even when all feels lost. We have this beautiful power as humans to be able to find the hope, be the love, believe in something beyond just ourselves, that we don't always have to understand in this moment what those things are, but we can choose for ourselves again and again and again. And through that choice, we can create a resonance in that field to feel better. So why not feel better? I'd love to know in the comments below, or as you're listening to this replay, what you're willing to try today and how it turned out for you. What feelings did it produce, and how did it help you shift from one state of mind to the other? And in willingness to do that, what did it amplify? What kind of evidence did you collect? What were the cool signs and synchronicities that started to fall into place when you did? There's so much fun to pay attention to. It's almost like, what? Did that just happen? But it's real. And it comes from that energetic state of being that begins with our thoughts. So I hope you have a beautiful week. Thank you for tuning in. I'd love to hear from you as always, and I'll catch you next week on another episode of The Space Between.